Courses, courses, courses. He got a course. She got a course. They got a course. Everybody got a course. Would you like to have a course too? During the pandemic, we've seen a significant rise in the digital space as it relates to online courses. Some are good, some are bad, some are ugly. But today we're going to talk about the correct way to get into the digital space. If you are a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have any product or service, you need an online program. We have the guru and one of the top experts in digital course creation in the building with us, who's going to give us all of the game on how to get your online digital product done the right way. Let's get it. Hey, what up, y'all? It's Ash Cash checking in. And if you are a creative entrepreneur, deal maker, investor, etc., I got something major to tell you. I will be at the Black Equity Con coming up in Miami on June 9th and June 10th. When I tell you, the roster is absolutely crazy. This isn't just a hype or rah-rah event. This is a legitimate conference with over 40 plus sessions, over 2 full days covering all things entrepreneurship, monetization, how to build a team, investing, and even mental and emotional health. We all know how important it is to pour into our own cup and take care of yourself first before we can take care of others. Entrepreneurship is no doubt the path to breaking generational curses. So if you are a Black creator or entrepreneur looking to network with thousands of other like minds in the beautiful city of Miami, I need you to go to blackequitycon.com right now to save your seats. All right, let's get to the episode.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, you change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprints of wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet, where we give you the insider's guide to creating financial freedom and generational wealth. When I tell you this episode is for anybody who has a product, a service, a small business, they're an entrepreneur, they're an expert. If you're a doctor or a lawyer, you need to check out this episode, because we are going to give you the right way to create courses and why online digital products are here to stay. They're actually not going anywhere. So regardless of what you may think about the saturation of it, you have to know that there is a right and wrong way of creating digital products. I got my guy, Justin Burns, the CEO of Maestro, which is one of the top course creation platforms on the planet. And he's going to talk to you about all things course creation. Just, what's up, brother? How you?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Good to be here, man.
Yo, thank you for being here, for being our guest, man. I'm excited about this episode because there is a lot of digital products happening right now in this space, right? And so, you know, digital products have been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
But when we think about the pandemic, where everybody was home, we obviously nobody could do anything, could go anywhere. So we saw a tremendous spike in online course creation and digital products. To be honest, some were good, a lot were bad, right? A lot were ugly. And it kind of put a sour taste in a lot of the consumers. Those who were consuming them are now looking at digital courses the wrong way. So I want to talk about where the space is now, what you've seen in the space, where the space is going. But before we even get there, for those who don't know, who is Justin Burns?
Yeah, so Justin Burns, man, is a boy from the south side of Chicago, Chi-Town, you know what I'm saying, born and raised.
Yeah.
And, you know, man, I was a little boy who didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. And I hopped from thing to thing to thing until I really wanted to kind of find that thing. And that thing really came in the form when I was sitting at a seminar. And I didn't even know what this joint was. I didn't know if I was invited to an MLM, you know what I'm saying, any type of joint. And I was sitting there, and you know how everybody talks about, you know, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say doctor, lawyer. You know, people, when it came around to me, I honestly ain't have no clue. Right. But as I started to fail over and over and over again, my friend, I actually met this guy when I was selling cell phones. I used to sell the phones, you know, the old school Motorola Razor joints.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting there and this guy said, man, you need to look at the internet. And this is back in 2000 and probably 7. Right. And I just said, man, the internet, you can say, I'm thinking, you know, the guy was talking about selling stuff. I'm thinking he moving weight a lot. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Right. But something inside of me, you always come to this moment where there's a gut feeling, and we all have it throughout life, where all of us are presented with multiple opportunities. You know, I never met somebody that said, hey, opportunity never came my way. The choice is, are you going to choose the one that aligns with you? And for some reason, something bought me that was like destiny. So I'm sitting in this room, I'm looking around, I'm like, man, what am I doing? So what am I doing here? And the guy on stage, I remember, never forget, he came on stage and he said, you know, the internet is going to change the way we do business. Now, again, 2008, I don't know if you remember, people were afraid to pull out their credit cards and purchase products and purchase services, right? Yeah. But at that time, he was like, people are going to be buying ebooks and people are going to be buying, everybody looking at this dude crazy. I was probably the only one giving him that one eye when he was up at the stage, right? Yeah. And something when he said that, he said, you can have people purchasing your product in Australia, Germany, Africa, Spain. And when he said that, man, I just lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was like, I looked at it and I said, that's it. That's where the future is. And almost a decade later, man, you're talking about billions and billions of products being sold every single day. But the key is knowing how to do it the right way.
Yeah. And so, you know, we fast forward, you own one of the top course creation platforms on the planet. Talk to us about Maestro.
Yeah, so Maestro came as an idea. Actually, Maestro is my second platform. So I realized that there was this issue with experts and creating online courses, right? So back in 2008, you know, there was real limited technology, right? I don't know if you probably remember this, 2008. I tell people, man, you living in one of the greatest times in history. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because all you got to do is learn a platform, and some people don't even want to do that, right? Back in the day, you had to stitch together HTML code, even to put up a page. That's all you had to do. Or you had WordPress, you had 20 different plugins, plug everything together, right? So I wanted to create something that really helped people and change lives. And even what I see in the trajectory of what's happening in the space right now, where you talk about communities and you're talking about all those things, which is stuff that Maestro does, you know, it's really trying to change the game and help a lot of people.
Yeah. And so, you know, when you think about the course creation game, why is it important that if you're a small business, if you're an entrepreneur, why is it important that you have a digital footprint?
Yeah. So I've approached that from two sides, right? So the way one is from, if you are not helping people, right, then you're not inspiring people to change their lives. And that's what a lot of us want to do, especially if you're an expert, if you're a speaker, if you're a trainer, even if you're a small business owner, you want to change the lives of different people through your products, right? So small story with me, you know, how I actually discovered, I was sitting in that seminar and I'm like, what do I do next? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the next steps? Right? So I went home and I started purchasing all these crazy products, affiliate marketing, SEO, how to whatever, you know, if it was making money, I tried to do it, right? And so what started to happen, I came across this one course though, and it talked about how to sell ebooks. And I remember I was looking at that thing, and I studied that thing like crazy. I'm talking about all night long I was consuming that product. And it talked about charging, you know, per month and building up. And then when it said this, it said, how much do you want to make? Now at the time, I had never made over $30,000 in a single year, right? So when it said you got 1,000 customers at $30, you can make $30,000, right? But they say, imagine if you charge that per month. I'm like, $30K per month. Like, it was crazy, right? But what happened to me was that one purchase changed my life.
Yeah.
That one purchase changed my life. But if the guy hadn't put the ebook out, imagine where I would be, or imagine how longer it would have took. So I tell people when they're overwhelmed with trying to create a course or even any type of product, who are the people that you're holding back from their greatness because you won't put yours out?
And I love that point because I keep hearing in the marketplace that there's course fatigue and that, you know, people who are experts or are putting out products and services are now sort of hesitant to put out that ebook, to put out that course, to put out that book, because they feel like it's too saturated. But to your point, at the end of the day, we all have our own purpose. We all are here to serve an audience. And if we don't put out that gift to serve them, then how are they going to be blessed by what we've been blessed with? Right. Yeah. And so how does a course or program, help you scale, like help you, take your business to that next level?
So there's a word that I learned years ago that I had absolutely didn't know what the heck it meant. But as I started to really kind of incorporate this word into everything that I did, it started to change my business and even all the people that I was helping with their online courses, right? It's one word called indoctrination, right? So indoctrination, when you think about indoctrination, the meaning of indoctrination is that you have somebody who gravitate towards you. It takes on average 7 times for a person to see your product, your ads, different programs for them to purchase, right? So you have a lot of business owners out there who will put out an ad one time, or they'll put out a product one time, or they'll post on Instagram one time, right? And what's happening is that you have to show that over and over and over again to get your, potential customer to do that. And even to your point, where you people talk about course saturation. Listen, it's course saturation in their bubble, right? So oftentimes we'll be like, hey, yo, everybody that I know got a course, right? You go out in the outside world to people who are just coming to, to new seminars or whatever. They have never even heard of this stuff, right? So you're talking about a few thousand people in comparison to the reach is millions upon millions of people in your market that haven't even purchased a course. So oftentimes what happens is if you're an expert, you're a speaker, whatever it is, and you say, hey, do I create the course? You either fall in 2 categories. Either you have a course that's not selling as well as it should, or you're overthinking it and thinking, who's going to purchase this? And I'm telling you that there's, again, I think I saw a stat, it was like 22,000 people per day come online that have never been on the internet before.
Wow.
22,000. 22,000 people per day.
Wow. Yeah.
So the reach is humongous, right? And it's only the people that are listening to those gurus and other people talk about, yo, they trying to keep the money for themselves.
100%. They want you to drop out the race so you get, right.
They like, hey, it's too saturated. Don't go into that market, right?
Yeah.
But what I find is there are so many different platforms that pop up where your ideal customer is. The new thing right now is TikTok, right? So it used to be TikTok out for kids, but now, my cousin 25 on there dancing for her business, right? Trying to promote her business and different things like that. So you have to really get out of that kind of poverty. That's poverty thinking that there's not enough customers online, because it's totally not true.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that because, that's the truth, right? When you think about saturation, it might be saturation with your current clients, but like you said, if you have that system that's working for you, that's able to get you in front of the people who actually want your product or service, who never heard of you, then you'll be able to deliver that. And so right now there's somebody who's watching who, they have a small business, they have a product or service or some type of expertise, and they want to get into this digital space. What's the first step in creating a digital product?
So the first step is you have to identify, number one, your target audience. Like I heard my mentor say, if everybody is your customer, nobody is your customer.
Oh, that's a big one.
Right? So the biggest thing is like most people think, well, if I niche down, or if I don't, try to target, everybody, I'm going to, try to capture everybody. And in fact, like, one of the biggest things that I did was focus on a specific target audience, because what happens is you got to understand, like, every different market speaks a certain language patterns, right? I think it was like, we had a client on our platform, Maestro, got 30,000 customers, right? Crazy.
Wow.
And it's in this niche I'd never heard of. It's like it's like some type of mechanic thing. They talking about combustions and all this word. I'm like, what is that?
Right.
But I realized, but when you get into his community and you start seeing, like, you go into these Facebook groups, and I started kind of researching, they were talking a certain language pattern that only they understood. So when everybody is your customer, nobody is your customer. And the way that you kind of drown out other competitors and you dominate is, first, you have to really understand who it is that you're targeting, right? So that's the first step.
Hey, does managing and multiplying your money cause you stress, overwhelm, or does it even keep you up at night? You all heard the saying, right? It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Well, I want to show you secrets of the 1% to show you how to leverage life insurance to become your own bank. It's the same system I use to buy apartment buildings, to buy real estate, to buy vehicles, etc. All while my money continues to grow tax-free as if I never touched it. Some of you saw me on Inside the Vault episode number 64, but that wasn't enough, you all. I got to take it to another level. I got to show you how I built trust that's going to prevent taxation, that I was able to build generational wealth and pass that money on to the next generation that's going to be completely tax-free. If you're ready to learn these things, I need you to visit the site InsideProsperity.com for the 5-day challenge that we're going to show you how to change your financial life forever. That's InsideProsperity.com. Do it now. No opportunity wasted, right? InsideProsperity.com.
And then what, once you know your audience, does it make sense to now say, you know what, do you just turn the camera on and wing it? Do you create the curriculum? Do you, get people to buy a course first before you create it? Like, what's the best way to go from there?
No, I would say, honestly, that's what kind of amateurs do. They try to first take a long time. They try to I call it piecemealing, right? Yeah. They try to piecemeal their product together. They over here trying to shoot this. They trying to get the camera right. That's not what successful creators do. We call them creators because the New York Times actually talked about this. The fast and growing segment of small business owners is creators. Your YouTube creators, your authors, the people, because you're able to create your own economy. Years ago, you had to fight for space on television. You had to fight for that. Yeah. Now you got so many different platforms that has billions, if not, millions, if not billions of people. Yeah. Right. So the first step that you want to take is you got to validate your market. A lot of people make this mistake up front, right? They don't validate their market. So before I create any product, you could do something called pre-selling. So pre-selling is you could create the product before it's actually created first to validate if people want it, right? So you have this pod of people, right? So one of the things that I did before I even got started, before I launch any product, is I validate that market first. And it's really easy to do that. We call it pre-selling, like I just said, right? So the first thing that you do, there's so many builders, you could do it on Maestro. You create the page first, right? Before you even create the product, and you can start to promote that product. But here's my strategy for doing it. Let me give y'all some game of how I do
sauce.
That, right? Give you some sauce, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that I do is I create like a survey, right? And it asks 4 different questions, right? What are the biggest problems that you're going through right now, right? What are some of the solutions that you would like to those problems? And if I were to like wave a magic wand, how is it that you would get your ideal solution, right? And so what I do is everybody, you can do this in Facebook groups. You can promote this in different areas, but all of us have got business cards of people that we meet that are ideal clients. You might have a small email list, or if you don't got that, you got social media. So you have to start promoting that out to people. And all you're looking for, you're not looking for 100 answers. You're looking for a small amount of answers to get validation. Then from there, what you do is you can start doing, I go through a 3-step process, right? So a lot of people, what they do, they call it launching. So they'll create the product. That's what they do. They go through this long process of creating the product first, right? Then they hope and pray, right? They'll put some ads up, throw $100 at it, and just hope like, hey, if it ain't work, they back to the drawing board, right? That's the reverse way to do it. The first way is pre-selling. The second way that I do is you could do different, we call it pre-launching. So I set up a waiting list first, right? Before, to get people kind of really excited. What do movies do when they launch, right? What's the first thing they do? They drop the trailer.
Right, they drop the trailer.
Right? They get you excited, right? Even if it ain't coming out for 2 years. The movie ain't dropping for 2 years.
Yeah.
But what they do is they get you excited. That's called indoctrination. They get you excited. They get you, motivated, right? Then once and you're building up your email list, the biggest asset that a business owner can have is an email list. Right? Because you're building that you can promote to them again and again and again. If your Facebook or your Twitter or anything else goes away, what are you left with? Nothing.
Nothing.
If they, decide to get on one of their crazy moments and kill your profile, you don't have that. An email list, you have that where you could promote over and over and over again. So what I do is typically start promoting that waiting list, and I get at a 2-week period of time. And then after that 2-week period of time, I move into the launch phase, where then I put up a sales page, and I'm not creating the product yet. I'm not creating the product yet. I'm getting a few customers and I'm getting paid to create the product first. Right? So I'm not creating the product and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting paid to create the product.
Yeah.
Then after that, we step into the post-launch phase, right? So the post-launch phase is where then you start to scale, but then you can create your program week by week. Because here's what we talk about, right? You want to have market validation, but you also want to make sure you have, product market fit is what we call it, right? So product market fit is making sure that people actually want your product. Then from there, you'll have people busting down your door who want your actual product, and you're not trying to guess, is this the right, product? Should they purchase this? None of that. We got product market fit. And then from there, then you jump into the ad strategy, the organic strategy, but most people do it in reverse.
I love that, because I think that, like you said, a lot of times people are, they have this idea, and they say, oh, this is going to be a great course. They spend all this money or time, right? Because sometimes they don't spend money. They throw on their phones or whatever, but they spend time creating all of this content, then they put it out to the market, and then they're wondering why no one is buying, because like you said, they didn't test the market first. They didn't validate the market. They didn't pre-launch. They didn't do these things that actually proves whether somebody wants it or not. Right. And so, what is your thought, about the type of, equipment that people need? Is it okay to create courses on your cell phone? Should you hire, at what point do you hire, a team, right? Because I know you have a team, that has actually put out some of the top selling, programs, out here. At what point does somebody invest in themselves to hire, a team to create their content?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of the comparison to, like, recently I had to face the fact that I absolutely hate posting on social media. Like, I absolutely hate it, right? So it comes a point in time where you have to know what is the smartest way to delegate, right? And what that kind of time versus time wasted equation is. And a lot of people don't take that into account. Right? They think about the dollars. They don't think about the investment.
Right.
They don't understand, like, you can waste so many times. And then if you equate that to money, how much money have you actually lost? Right? So if you put a value on your time, let's say you value your time at $1,000 an hour, right? If it's taking you 6 months to get a product to market, calculate that and then think about how much have I actually lost. One time I realized I lost $500,000 by not outsourcing this.
Wow.
By getting somebody who's way better at to do it than me. And guess what? When I paid them, right, I tell people the best way to kind of really understand the value equation is I call it stinging, right? If you can go ahead and invest in it, it's gonna sting, right? If you pay her for an expert, it's gonna sting. Versus if it's going to wipe you out, then you have to develop the skill sets to do it yourself. But if it's going to sting, get it out the way so then they can really fast track your success. And so when I did that, this team set up all my stuff in 30 days. I had been procrastinating on it for 6 months. So you see what is the time that you're losing in terms of the investment versus that?
Oh, man. And so talk about, as a course creator yourself, as someone who owns the platform that has helped others, are we talking a little bit of money in the course creation, or is there a lot of money in digital course creation?
I mean, it's a $325 billion industry. And it's only, that was the stats before the pandemic.
Wow.
Right before people went home. And I actually kind of said like this was going to happen. I said, people are going to stay at home, and not only are they going to kind of get burnt out from their 9-to-5s and other things that they're doing that they're not passionate or excited about, but that this space was going to explode. And it's exactly what happened during the pandemic. But it's a $325 billion industry, and it's only growing. Wow. And one of the things, the great part about a course is you create it one time, but it creates recurring revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So once you really master the steps and put together a structure, and you really have to know how people think. The biggest mistake that people make is that they create information instead of transformation.
Oh, that's a bar.
Right.
That's a bar. They create information instead of transformation. Talk to us. Expound on that.
So what they do is they kind of start from a selfish place, right? Unconsciously though.
Yeah.
They want to help. They want to get it out there. And what they do is they sit there and say, well, should this go here? And then how long should it be? And, should it be 30 videos or 40 videos? Yeah. That's actually the wrong way to approach it, right? You have to start with the end in mind. There's two ways that we talk about that people want when it comes to purchasing a product. People don't want to buy information. They're trying to get transformation, which equals end results. What is the end result that you want, right? What is the ultimate end result? You have to start to think about that. The second piece is the time equation. So what a lot of people do is they think that the longer that they make their digital programs or their products or their programs, the more that people are going to consume it. But only a small amount of people consume products. So in fact, an attention span is at an all-time low. Right. So the one thing you have to do is you have to structure it to be transformation. You have to understand your customer. You also have to create your offer in a way that removes the time piece. Give you an example, right? One of the things, I was actually, trying to get the body right, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Everlasting fight, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so what I did was I said, I got to get the nutrition right. I got to get, the trainer right. I got to get all of those things, because I go to the gym, but I ain't going to push myself like a trainer going to beat me up, right? The way I need to. Yeah. And so I was interviewing 3 people. And I remember I got on the phone with one guy. He said, man, we're going to get you a regimen. We're going to put you on. You're going to go to the gym 5 times a week, and you're going to do all this work. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, man, look, the politically correct answer is I want to do this. But in the back of my mind, that's not how I'm wired. I want the end result, right? I want you to remove the barriers, that the time equation that is going to take me to get to my result faster, right? So the third guy got on the phone, went to the second guy, same thing. You're going to be in the gym. We're going to push you hard. The third guy said, listen, let me make it easy for you. I'm going to give you motivational training so that you're motivated 4 or 5 days a week, right? I'm going to give you accountability calls so that you show up every single day, right? You're going to train with me 4 days a week. And I'm going to make it even easier for you, because what I'm going to do is actually prepare your meals for you. And I also have a checklist for you exactly to show you step by step what to eat when you're traveling, because Justin, you're an entrepreneur. So what you need is, when you're on the road, you need exactly the step-by-step strategies in order to not be able to mess up. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Now, does that sound like an irresistible offer?
Irresistible.
Irresistible. Give it to me.
Right.
And so that's really where what most people do is they sort of like price check themselves. They think about, how can I make this the lowest price? People, like a big portion of the market that you don't even know, wants to buy the best of the best. It's why Lamborghini doesn't need a commercial, right? It's why Apple for a long time didn't have commercials, right? They just start, popping up because they want to dominate the market better. So you have to ask yourself this question, right? The question becomes, am I selling myself short because I don't know how to create an irresistible offer that people really want?
No, I love that. That's powerful, Gabe. And so what do you believe the longevity of online courses is, right? Do you believe that online courses have the capability to replace traditional education?
I mean, absolutely, right? But I mean, you need your doctors, you need your lawyers. We ain't gonna go as far as saying that. But let me tell you this, as the world, the world, especially with technology, is only going to become more complex, right? I always say this saying when people talk about how bad times is right now, I say, listen, we're living in one of the greatest times in history. And they say, man, why you say that? You know, people, inflation, and you have all these things. But I say, listen, that's looking at what is presented in front of you every single day. What about the flip side of the coin? My grandmother, my great grandmother didn't have a YouTube, didn't have an Ashcast author course where I could learn how to be a best-selling author. You can learn any skill set today. The problem is the mindset of basically where most people are programmed and the way that they're programmed, unfortunately, right? But if you were to just click that switch, what would happen is it shifts your perspective. Me, I can't get enough. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm hungry. Like me, I'm like Les Brown say, I'm hungry, right? Like I'm studying 3-4 hours a day, right? So you have things, real estate, how to invest in gold. I mean, just different things that you can learn. Even, I tell people, even with technology, I didn't go to Harvard, Yale. I didn't even go to community college. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, but because I had access to online courses and books and all this training, it took me years, but I ended up starting to understand it, mentorship, coaching, all of those fall in kind of the same line of digital programs. So when you kind of expound your thinking, when you kind of expound with the way you think, it changes your perspective of what abundance is, because abundance ain't just going to show up for you, right? But abundance is all around you. All you got to do is click on YouTube and you can start learning about real estate. If you want to become a realtor, you can start on YouTube. I saw a brother the other day. He built a car. He was in a third world country. Wow. He looked at the blueprint online and he literally looked up the blueprint and he built an entire car without having any experience. Wow. The world is at a great place, but we have to see the opportunities. And you're going to have bad apples out there, right? You're going to have people who produce bad content, but there's also a lot of great content. You just have to know how to decipher which one.
Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video.
No, I love that. And so, but let's talk about, you and getting into the tech space, right? Because to be 100% honest, the owners of these platforms are not from the Black community, to be 100% honest, right?
Absolutely.
And so here you have a Black man from the South Side of Chicago.
South Side?
South Side? I don't know if that's how you say it. But
that's how you say it. You look.
South Side?
You did that good to be from New York.
You know what I mean? From the South Side of Chicago, who owns a platform that some of the largest content creators are using to get their content out there. How do you find yourself in that space?
I mean, so like I say, opportunity always meets you when you're ready for your destiny, right? And so the same way that I saw that when I was talking about that seminar, when I was in the seminar and I saw, you can purchase stuff online. I had a agency at the time, and I'm not gonna lie, I was burnt out. I had a business, but I was burnt out. But I always had this kind of attraction to technology and wanting to start something, right? And so I remember my client, opportunity meets destiny. My client called me up. He said, I'm going to be at this technology place where, the founders of different companies like MailChimp and all these other big time companies, they're going to be at. So I got on the plane. I'm talking about the next day I booked my flight. Wow. Right? Opportunity, right? And money loves speed, and opportunity loves speed as well. And so I got on that plane. I went there, and I went in there, and I didn't see many people that look like me in the space, right? And so I went there, and the same thing, I had that aha moment, and I said, I want to create something that people use, and technology is really changing the world, right? And so I said, I wanted to create something like that. And I remember leaving with my client. He had a successful tech startup. And I said, man, there's not a lot of people in this room that look like me right? And so I wanted to create something that business owners were using all the time. And I had a big challenge in getting started, right? I got a lot of, doors slammed on me. I couldn't get a lot of funding. So I had to apply the strategy that I talked about earlier, which is in the pre-selling. I had said, what if I applied this strategy to this space? Now, this is not courses, but what if I put a little bit of money in, got proof of concept first, because I think I saw something like only 1% of investment funds go to minorities. And so I knew that I had a disadvantage, but it wasn't the disadvantage. Right. Yeah. And so I applied the same strategy. So I remember going out, putting all these jobs up for developers. I'm up here late at night studying coding languages. I didn't know what this stuff was, but I said, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be successful and create something that could be world changing? Right. And so what I did was I stayed up all night and I met this guy who's actually my lead developer now, been with me for 5 years, helping me develop the platform. We met at a seminar and we just never looked back. And what we did was we created the first version, which is the MVP version of it, right? It stands for minimal viable product. So we, created all the features, all the products inside of that program. And what I did was I said, listen, if you guys want to join one of the largest, and at the time, it ain't even had no back end, right? Right. It was just a shell.
Yeah.
But I said, we're growing. I was honest with customers, and the same customers that I was selling, because prior to that, I had sold online courses. I didn't just start, being a course creator, right? So I said, if you guys want to jump in, it wasn't investment. It was just investing in the platform, right? See, what a lot of people don't realize, Ash, is like, the greatest thing, especially with a course, especially in 2022, the best way to sell a course is create a community first.
100%.
Right? That's why a lot of people, there's some people, especially Instagram, you see the numbers, but there's a lot of people who don't got 20, 250, 300,000 followers that are making millions and millions of dollars without that, because you don't need that. That's something that people have been injected into us to think, right? So I pre-sold it, and I think we made $30,000 pre-selling the platform before it was created.
Wow.
So we actually got funds, and we told people it wasn't ready. It might have been buggy, but what that allowed for me to do is constantly keep, funding it. And up until this day, we have no venture back capital, nothing.
Wow.
We've completely funded it off the back of our customers.
Wow. And so the customers allowed you to raise the money, create this platform. And then now once the customers helped you create the platform, now what they're paying to be on the platform is now helping you get better and better and better. Because I know you recently added a community feature to your program. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, like I said, we wanted to innovate. We realized that, and I always teach this, especially with some of the people that work with me. I say, you have to have those two really successful things. And I call it, it's three successful things to sell a course is, content, community, and conversions. Right? Those are my 3 C's for selling any type of program. So we realize is that there's a lot of people out there, especially the first issue is like trying to get people to purchase a course. But what happens when people actually purchase your online course? Well, the community is what's important. But what do we do unconsciously because it's digital? We dump people into 5 different platforms unconsciously, right? Treat them like they are not a live, customer, right? We unconsciously do it because it's the only thing we know, right? So unconsciously what we know is, okay, if somebody purchased a product, they get an email. We all have seen this with the username, password, and then we might throw you in a Facebook group, and that's it. And, you don't hear from customers. Now, there's smart people who understand they got to nurture their audience, right? But instead of throwing somebody in the Telegram group, I purchased a course the other day, and I was just like, man, he threw me in 5 different things. That's 5 different communications, right? So I'm in a Telegram group, I'm in a WhatsApp group, I'm in a Facebook group, I'm on the email list, I'm on a Zoom list.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to really understand, like, you have to meet your customer where they are, and they don't want to be on 5 different platforms. So we innovated and we've launched the community part of our platform that we're excited about.
Nah, I love it. And so what is the what advice would you have, right? So somebody's watching right now who is a course creator, and they got a course, it's just not hitting. Like, nobody's buying the course. They ready to get out of the course business. They like, you know what? I'm about to get a 9 to 5 or I'm about to do live events, whatever, right?
Yeah.
What advice do you have to that creator that is like, all right, it's nothing's hitting?
Yeah. So one of the first ways to approach any problem is I call it thinking outside the box strategies, right? So just like I could have, when I was launching my platform, I could have totally been like, you know what? I got to have this big VC funding. I got to have all this funding to even get it started. But I thought outside the box. So one of the first things that you have to do is you have to sit down and think about you have to evaluate your resources, right? You have to say, okay, what is my marketing budget? And if you don't have a marketing budget, then you got to get innovative, right? And so one of the things I actually did this years ago where I had a product, I had put all the time, resources into this product, right? And I remember I was like, how the heck do I get customers? How to create it? I did the backwards because I didn't know what I know now, right? And so I said, okay, what's the strategies that I can use? So I started evaluating all the strategies that didn't require me to have to spend money on ads and all this other stuff, right? So the one strategy that came up was there was this concept called joint venture, right? Or affiliate marketing. I didn't know what it was, so I started researching it all night long. And what I realized, I said, wait, there's people out there that have already built up an audience that I could tap into, right? And I could promote to their audience. They already have a relationship with their audience, right? So what I did, I got on a plane. I went to this seminar. I didn't know what I was doing. There was no manual to this, right? And so I went in the plane. I started networking. I said, I want to meet that speaker. He actually is somebody I want to connect with. And so it was hard to get to him. So I'm sitting at this bar. Guess who pops up at the bar? This guy comes up and he said, hey man, you want a beer? We started talking. We became friends. And then I first sold into his business before I asked for anything.
Wow.
Right? So that's what happens to a lot of people when they try to, I want to meet Ash Cash. I want to meet this person. What have you sold first? How have you added value to this person's business first? So many people got their hand out. I got this great product. People pitch me. I'm Instagram. I got 5 messages a day with people pitching me on products, right? But hardly nobody comes to me and say, hey, Justin, I went on your site. I realize you've been in business since 2016. Congratulations, bro. I purchased your product and I wanted to add some insight. Is it okay if I want to promote you to my audience? Right. So that's the strategy. That's how I kind of turned it upside down. Instead of asking for something, I started to connect with the person. And I said, I didn't even ask him. I knew he had my audience. I ain't asked him the first day. Right. So we started talking. Guess what he did? Just naturally. I said, hey man, what do you need right now in your business? That's the first question you want to ask. He said, I need a copywriter, man. I need a copywriter. I need somebody who can write my copy for my sales page. I said, man, that's a dude that I met at the last seminar, right? So I hit him up. I said, hey man, listen, I got this guy who needs you. Send me some of your work. I evaluated him, vetted him first, right? Then guess what I did? I told him, I said, listen, I vetted him first. So many people be connectors without first evaluating who they're connecting the person to. Right. So I started really like evaluating. I said, I've already vetted him. Here's who you need. Interview him. Let me know what happens. Didn't want nothing. Made the relationship piece. A month later, he said, hey man, what are you promoting? He said, what are you promoting? I said, man, I got this product that I, just developed. It's all around copywriting, it'll help your audience, but, let me know. He said, yeah, you ain't asked for them. You gave me so much value. The law of reciprocity. That's what it is. The law of reciprocity. So he says, let me promote it. Now I didn't know how big his email list was at first. He said, yeah, man, I got a 250,000 person email list.
Wow.
Now, I didn't use any of my own money, right? So we did a webinar promotion. Webinars are one of the best things you could do to promote your online courses. And trust me, you don't need to have 2,000 slides, all this other stuff. You got to be authentic with your audience and provide value, right? So he promoted it, and we did a 6-figure promotion in a span of 3 days. Right? Now, this was about 6 years ago. So I tell people, if you're watching this, and you are a course creator or you're thinking about it or you struggle with it, you have to think outside the box and you don't have to always spend money to get customers. You have to identify, I tell people the power of one, right? You need one product, not 20.
Not 20.
Because some people come to me and they're sitting down and I'm doing some consulting with them and they go, man, I got 20 course ideas.
Yeah.
And I said, well, where's the first one? Did the first one get to 6 or 7 figures first?
Yeah.
And they like, no. Well, why are you thinking about 3 or 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Have one product, one funnel,
Yeah.
right? One traffic source. It'll change your life. Because why? Because online is all about testing. Most people think it's about making sales. The person who tests the most is the person who gets the most sales. They're testing their messaging. They're testing their offer. They're testing how people respond.
Yep.
If somebody don't respond to a certain post or a certain thing, it's the algorithm or it's the messaging. So you keep testing.
Right.
The testers are the people who make the most money in online courses. Right. So you have to focus on the power of one, and that way you can scale.
If you are an entrepreneur, business coach, or small business owner who wants to get more visibility for your product or service, then consider advertising on Inside the Vault. We have been seen and heard over 2 million times, and as the show continues to grow, your ad would be embedded in our episodes forever. So the return on investments on advertising with us is unmeasurable and invaluable. If you're interested in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then text podcast to 646-687-4152 or email us at info@insidethevaultshow.com. Allow your business to get the visibility that it deserves.
I love that. And so what's the future of what Justin Burns is doing, Maestro? Like when you look at this space, if look up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what is that outlook gonna look like?
The space is really going to change, like any space changes, right? But the core strategies are going to be in place. People are still going to be looking for opportunities. So, my goal is to really, really innovate, especially with some of the stuff that we have coming out that's going to especially evolve in the metaverse, right? Mm-hmm. So most people, you might be against the metaverse, whatever it is, it's coming whether you like it or not, right? And it's just like social media. When you tried to introduce somebody in 2008, 2009, they're like, man, what's a Facebook page, right? And they're like, man, I don't like that social media stuff. When you realize that your business suffered if you didn't have social media, right? So that's the same. The world is, vastly changing and people are going to start learning, especially in the metaverse. So you have to really start to prepare yourself because online courses, learning, none of that stuff is going anywhere. Yeah. And the people that understand how to creatively give people what they want faster, they know how to acquire their customers, which is conversions, and they know how to use the right strategies will win in the end. And that doesn't mean the most money, right? Because there's a lot of people who are not even in business that were trying to copy us and do so many things, but we've been here over a decade, right? And that's because I always think about the creative strategies and giving my customers what they want in a faster period of time.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love what you said, because when you think about cryptocurrency, metaverse, and all these spaces where the eyeballs are going to be, you have to start to prepare yourself to be in those spaces, because ultimately your goal as a creator is to create and allow that creation to serve an audience. And so regardless of where the audience is, you have to reach them at that space. So I love that. And so you have a program, right? Masterclass. Like talk to us about your program.
Yeah. So over the past, I would say decade, I've worked with some of the top experts and know all of the challenges that it comes with creating a course. Because like you said, most people think, oh, if I just pop up my phone and I just, record on my phone, that's a course. That's actually the opposite of a course. So you have to know exactly what is the messaging that you're going to offer. You have to know how to create it so that anybody in the world knows how to buy your product. I tell people this. Most experts know how to connect with their customer because you're familiar with your actual, inner circle, right? Your people. But how do you get someone who's in another country, in another area of the world, to pull out their credit card? Most people don't understand that's a skill. and you could do it. People don't understand their tribe is already out there. You just have to know strategically there's structure, there's steps, there's strategies, there's the way that you present. Even to get people, I tell people this, the course is the first step. It's not the end step, right? So a lot of people think if I just make money, if I got 1,000 people pay me 47, I make $47,000. Well, there's also a back end step. Like a course, people are interviewing you. You talked about earlier, like business owners. Anybody can create an online course. Business owners, they say, I'm a local business, right? How can you educate people on the problems that they're going through? And if they purchase your course, it makes it easier to make the sale. And people don't understand that. If I'm selling consulting, right, instead of me pitching you and trying to run, you know, a 3-day sale on you, why don't I keep my prices the same and just educate you and get you in that indoctrination stage? So then it lowers your buying, like all the things like, what do I do? All these rejection things that are going through the person's mind. Yeah. It lowers all of those things and it makes the sale easy. Yeah. So that's exactly what the program is designed to do. It's a 5-week program. And what we do is show you how to get your customer. We show you not even just that, but the strategies I talked about, not just ads, but how do you set up a holistic strategy to get customers, right? How do you create a course that people actually go through and love and they become a part of your tribe, right? And so that's what I've really broke it down. Checklist, everything that you need. You don't need anything else to create an online program. In addition to that, the next step is, okay, I got all of this stuff. I got the checklist. I know exactly what to say in my course. I know how to film it. I know how to promote it. Then the next step is, which is, how do I sell it with the technology? Well, so what we do is we offer people the ability to get access, you know, and that's included in the course, to the Maestro platform, which shows you, you know, how to sell your course. You can, you know, connect it to payment processes and it manages and hosts your online program, protects your online program. It does all of those different things. So what else do you need to succeed, right? You got one aspect is going to show you how to attract your ideal customer, how to create it, but also the technology. You put those two together and you have a recipe for success.
Wow, that is powerful. And I think that a lot of people, especially because this space is growing and growing, instead of making that the mistake of trying to do everything on your own, you're able to like tap into your program and kind of learn, not from, you know, somebody who is, you know, did a course and figured it out, but somebody who actually has the platform that is hosting the course and can kind of get you to that next level. I love that. I love that. So we got a special offer, and we'll tell you about it. But, you know, if y'all go to insidersmasterclass.com, you can take advantage of this masterclass. It's exclusively for my insiders. So, take me back, right? Justin Burns is where he is right now. Can I say that you're a multiple 7-figure earner? I mean, I said that, but
you already put it out there.
Can I put the business out there? Justin Burns, multiple 7-figure earner, somebody who owns a platform, South Side of Chicago. If who you are today, if you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what advice are you giving young Justin Burns?
Man, I would just say, man, like, invest in the right mentors faster, right? At all costs, go faster, fail faster, go harder. Like, you know, start investing early, right? That's one of the things I would give myself, because I think a lot of people wait to pay the mentor or the coach because they're looking at the cost. The cost, like I talked about, is wasting time. Right. So even though I started in my early 20s, I'm in my 30s now, right? So I started in my early 20s. I wish I would have started at 18. And it's exactly the same age as my nephew. I don't have any kids, but my nephew is 18 and he calls me up and he says, Uncle Justin, I tell my friends you're the successful entrepreneur, so he wears it, with a badge, right? Which is awesome. And he says, how do I get started? Right. And I said, right now you're at the age where your friends and all of them, they're trying to figure their life out. And then they might wake up in their 20s or it might slap them in their 30s. But you're at the age right now where if you start studying a specialized skill and you master that skill, the key is mastery, right? The key is not just let me go through some YouTube videos. The key is 3 months later, you're still studying 1 to 2 hours a day, right? And you're not giving up, right? You keep going. So I told my nephew, I said, what do you want to do? He said, hey, I want to, do what you're doing. I said, that's going to take some time, boss. So I said, well, start learning coding. That's the first place to start. And so now I'm helping him. Now I'm trying to help him to create some of those streams. And so I wish that I had a mentor like me or somebody like you, or, you know what I'm saying? Different people to really help me in my journey, because I would have got there a lot faster. I didn't meet my first mentor. I mean, I've had different mentors along the way, but I didn't really meet my first real business mentor until I was 27, man.
Wow.
So I didn't really want that to happen to me. So that's what I would tell my 18-year-old self, is get to those mentors faster, offer value, and really, really put all your time into mastery.
I love that. All right, finish this statement for me. I'm
a creator.
I'm a creator. Love it. When it's all said and done, I will be
a billionaire.
Billionaire, let's go. I want everyone who crosses my path to know.
I want them to know that I gave it everything I had. I left everything on the table. I emptied out the tank.
No, I love that. So far, what would you say has been the most extravagant thing you've done with money?
Look, my friends call me cheap, man. So, I'll be, I'll be acting like, best way to keep money is act like you ain't got it sometimes, right? But I think sometimes you do have to enjoy your money. So one of the things that I love to do is travel, man. I say my safe haven, I go to, because you're always going to go, you got to have those experiences, right? When I was growing up, I didn't get a chance to travel really anywhere. My mother didn't have the extra, money to even take us, we would go on little road trips here and there to states, but I wish that I had the ability to do that. So, one of the things, the best experiences I've had is traveling. I go to places like Playa del Carmen, Mexico. That's my spot. Tulum, those different places. So those experiences is something that, outside of, because I invest 90% of my money, right? So it keeps growing and growing and growing down the road. But one of the things you cannot take away, you got to have some experiences.
I love it. And so the follow-up to that is, what has been the most impactful thing you've done with money?
I would say one of the most impactful things is to be able to acquire the knowledge to set my family free. One of the most I was telling a friend this earlier today. Me and I have 2 beautiful nieces, 1, nephew, right? I don't have, any kids. So we're all in a group chat. So now to watch them grow older and now to gravitate towards me and ask me questions like, hey, Uncle Justin, should I get this loan? And then me ask them objective questions back to challenge their thinking, right? To say, well, what is that loan going to be used for? Do you have a plan for it? Or give them financial literacy has just been something that money can't buy for me. To be able to say, hey, I'm going to put you as an authorized user on my credit at 18. To be able to build your credit, because I wish I had somebody to help me to do that. I can, to help you with this, if I develop this program, I say, this is a great pro. I need you to go through the stock investing program, whatever it is. Money can't buy that when you see your family, when the wheels start to turn, when you're able to go, back in the day when I was talking about all of this, people was looking at me crazy, right? They're like, man, what is this? Who does this dude think that he is, right? Now, as the world changes and it gets more complex, they're starting to realize that they need to acquire this knowledge, and money can't buy that.
No, I love that. Right now, there's somebody who has a 9-to-5. They started a business. So they got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they're trying to figure out, how to maneuver that 9-to-5 and that side hustle. What advice would you have for that person?
I mean, one of the biggest advices, like I said, is that you have to make sure that you value your time. You have to structure your time effectively, right? You have to really start to attach the value of how much it costs, right? And you have to really start to think through your day of what you're spending your time on. Cause it's so easy, especially when you split between a 9-to-5 and a side hustle, to waste a lot of time. You know, it took me years to get out of bad habits, like going right home, plopping on the couch and cutting on the TV. That's easy.
Yeah.
What are you going to do that's uncomfortable for you?
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable, you know, to, get up at 4 a.m. and, you know, have a regimen, right? You got to have a regimen in the morning to get you focused. It's uncomfortable to then go to your job and then get off because you tired and you coming home and studying and you applying and you trying to apply the information that you're learning and you're failing over and over, because one day it does pay off. Like I'm living proof of that.
Yeah.
And so you just have to constantly keep the vision. You got to, write the vision, make it plain, but that's real. You got to make sure that you're staying focused on it. And one day it will come to pass.
Man, I love that. I love that. All right, cool. We're going to do a quick lightning round. And so what we do here inside the vault, because we're literally inside a vault, we take bank terms and then we flip them, right? And so the first term we're going to say is deposit slip. When you fill out a form, you go into a bank, fill out a form, and you deposit money inside the bank. But for us, a deposit slip is a slip up, a money mistake, right? What would you say has been the biggest deposit slip or money mistake that you've made so far in your journey?
One of the biggest mistakes that I made wasn't understanding how to not only just develop leadership, but also people. And so I hired the wrong people, and I was just going through people like crazy. Right. Yeah. And so it's really, really important as you start to really, even if you don't have the money, right, is really to understand how to develop people, because one day your business will be ready for that. So I would just say, countless years, hiring the wrong people, going through that. But once I understood that it really started with me, and then how to actually develop a strategy to cultivate talent, it changed my business.
Oh, I love it. All right. Number 2, charge off, right? Charge off. You borrow money from the bank. The bank is trying to get the money back. You're not paying it off. Eventually, like, you know what? We're going to charge this thing off. Here inside the vault, we look at a charge off, or like what type of people or mindsets did you have to charge off to get where you are today?
I mean, I had to get rid of a lot of toxic people, and that's hard because we are attached to our environments so much. And so I think one of the hardest things to do is to detach from where you come from or what you're used to, family, people, right? So that was the hardest part. I probably went through years and years and years of trying to change. I call it transition. You know how people throw this quote out, right? They say, change your circle, you change your life. That ain't as easy as people make it, right? Yeah. So for me, it's like, how do you separate yourself? When you separate yourself, there's a period of time where there's a lonely period, right? That you have to go through because you're not at the level that the people that you're trying to get to at.
Right.
Right? So a lot of people don't talk about that, period.
That's true.
Right? They don't talk about it. They talk about the change your circle, go to here. Well, the people over here have been cultivating that mindset for years, and you're kind of in the kind of like area, right? Where you're trying to figure it out, but you don't relate to the people over here. So you got to stay strong and keep developing in that, but letting go of toxic people, man. I love my peace, man. If anything costs me peace, it's gotta hit.
Oh, 100%,
it's gone.
100%. Last but not least, ATM, right? So ATM, you put your card in, you get money out. You've given a lot of our insiders some great jewels. Like you literally printed some money for some people based on what you've given. So give us one more, right? ATM for us is another teachable moment, right? Give us one more gem that our insiders could use to get to that next level.
So I'll use he was on the vault, my man, Jonathan Gooch.
Oh,
right?
Salute to Gooch.
Salute to Gooch. Salute to my man. I
Yeah.
actually helped him create his course and everything. But one thing I respect about Gooch is he didn't understand. There's so many experts that we work with. There's people, they be like, I got the blueprint. I got the plan, right? He came in and he didn't understand things, but he was coachable. He was teachable. You got to be coachable. That's the first lesson. And then as you tailor it to it, you got to take imperfect action. And that's why I ain't going to spread his business, but his course did really, really well. But a lot of people don't know that Gooch recently created that online program, right? And so he was able to catapult his success, not because he knew everything or he had the right strategies. It's because he kept failing over and over. He got the fastest way to become successful. He removed those barriers. And then now, it's so funny. We make this joke because when I see him, like we're friends now. At first, I didn't know who he was. He was just a client. It's so funny when he comes on some of the, you know, courses that we build, he'll come on and he the expert. He'll be in the robe. He'll be coming in like, hey man, no. You got to say it like this. And I'm like, Gooch, man, you just created your course. You just created your course not too long ago. But it shows you, and he was successful before course, right? But it shows you that it's the power of money, love, speed, and opportunity, love, speed as well.
Yeah, I love that. All right, y'all, we are closing out the vault, another powerful episode with the Justin Burns, CEO, creator, founder of Maestro. Make sure y'all tap into his masterclass program. Go to insidersmasterclass.com where you could tap into the program. The great thing about his program is not only is he giving you the blueprint and teaching you in 5 weeks how to set up the right structure, but he also has the platform that you can actually use as well. So make sure you tap into that. If somebody wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
Instagram, CEO Justin Burns. Tap in.
CEO Justin Burns, tap in. The South Side of Chicago. We are closing out the vault. Another powerful episode. Make sure y'all join our Insiders community. Text Insiders to 646-687-4152. Also follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Follow me everywhere at I am Ash Cash. I will see you next time, same place, at the greatest money mindset show on the planet, Inside the Vault, where we are giving you the insider's guide to financial freedom and generational wealth for you and your family. I'll see you next time in God's will. Peace.
Oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch a ride.